Okay, everybody, welcome to my Infitech Minecraft series. My name is Ark, and I will be going over basically Infitech machinery. I'm actually planning to do a series of videos that very quickly and concisely explain the various machines without having to go through and watch 25 minutes of unrelated garbage. I'm sure a lot of you who've played this have actually been very, probably as frustrated as I have when you go on out there and you're wondering, I get the electric blast furnace. What can I do with this thing? How do I put it together? How do I make it work? Some guy's got a video, but you're going to have to go through 25 minutes of whatever other garbage he decided to cover before he even starts talking about the thing. And he might not even finish it in that video. You may have to go through 2 or 3 of his videos to see it. I actually want to do a bunch more of these things, or a bunch of videos that are going to be, very concisely explain these things, like, hey, the coke ovens. Let's explain the coke ovens. How do I get all that creosote out of them? Well, I'll explain that in one video, and there'll be nothing in that video but how to do that. These are meant to just help people out in the game, or who are just curious about it. Some of the stuff's well documented. So hopefully there won't be too many cat noises. I do have cats in this area, so there might be some cat noises. You might hear some noises from either the game or my machinery. I've blocked the game noises themselves, but the microphone will pick them up. Sometimes you might hear a bit of a bump or a clunk as well from my desk. Again, I've got cats down here. Sometimes they hop up and down off of furniture, and they'll make a little bit of noise. But generally, I'll just be like quickly covering things like, hey, everything you can do with the arc furnace, centrifuge, chemical bath. What kind of fun things can you do with that? It'd be nice to have them covered in a way that's, you don't got to sit through 30 minutes of someone building a statue of themselves and then suddenly they decide to go talk about the machine finally. I really hate that when I see that. When I see a video that says, hey, all about the blast furnace, and you've got to watch, all that other stuff. So, okay, that said, you can see some of the stuff here. For those of you who don't know anything about Infitech, just a quick introductory. This video will be a little more random simply because it's introductory. I guess first thing, my base, it's not going to look super aesthetic. I like to build these. You'll notice this base has 2 levels. There's a level where I just store a bunch of crap down here. I've actually got a little bridge under here I've ended up building over top. It looks kind of horrible, looks kind of ugly. You might wonder, why would you ever do this? I'm like, well, I'm not out here to build Walt Disney's castle. I'm actually here to build a factory. And factories are going to have pipes and garage doors and, clanking machinery, and they're going to be dirty and sooty. And, how many times have you gone out and looked at a factory and said, wow, that's a really that's a really pretty factory? They're not meant to be that way. This is meant just to, give me a big floor of workspace that's kind of up off the ground, so I don't have to deal with any monsters that might somehow wander nearby. And, you definitely don't want a creeper blowing your stuff to pieces. It keeps me up here. It's a little bit further away from the noisy cows and animals on the ground. Unfortunately, these little green guys will appear and disappear. There's a device that'll keep them appearing. I haven't built them yet. Or at least keep them at bay. It keeps them from spawning in the area, but it won't stop them from teleporting in if they spawn anywhere else nearby. But it does greatly reduce the number of them. But you can either think of them as your minions, like you're some kind of mad scientist or something. And, or you can do what I do and push them into hot pipes and off the building to, get ender pearls out of them. So, they do keep creepers away. They will kill creepers if they get nearby. So, they are kind of handy in that respect. I suppose you can always go and turn them off in the config file if they really become annoying. They really bothered me at first because they make the Enderman sound, and I kept thinking there was an Enderman in my base. But after a while, you kind of ignore them. One thing I've noticed is as you put torches down and prevent monsters from spawning in the various blocks around your base, both above and below ground, because there's more, I guess there's more space within the game itself to spawn these Endermen as well. you're going to get lots, or these ender minis, you're going to get lots of these things running around as you progress through the game. At least until you get the monster repeller, which should vastly reduce the number of them. But sometimes they're useful to have around just for. I don't know, sometimes it just kind of looks cool, like you've got little minions running around working your machines, even though they actually do nothing but blunder around. Sometimes they get in your way. I don't know. I leave them turned on. Sometimes they do spawn inside these tanks, which will cause them to not be able to hold anything more. That's very, very annoying when that happens. Definitely not a fan of that aspect of them, but if you're using these drums to store things instead, like I am here, these they can't spawn inside those and block things up. You just have to maybe daisy chain a bunch of drums together, and you can actually store things a little more efficiently than you can with these big tanks. These big tanks you have to build early on. Once you get the first MV, I think it's. Well, you can build the drums fairly early. Well, you can build them with basic tools. You do need steel though. You do have to get at least the bronze blast furnace to make steel, and then later the electric to do that. Or you get lucky and you find some in a chest out in the either underground or out in the open. Okay, so that said, I'm going to eventually do videos covering, for example, this monstrosity here that produces my fuel out of carrots of all things. I have a carrot-powered base, and there's actually a reason I use carrots. I'll explain all that in the video, and again, I'll quickly and concisely cover that. I'll cover some of this piping. I'll cover why I organize some of the things the way I have. Again, I'll make videos on that, but now some things like organization of your machinery is completely up to you. If you want to manually run stuff around and do things, which early on is a lot of what you do, that's great. Later they get options to put, to start automating things and creating pipes to shuttle things around. And there's also other ways to sort things. I haven't got too much into that yet. But it is good sometimes to, say, string a whole load of machinery and pipes together and, have something that produces what you need. Like this guy here, there's a whole group of machinery here that's dedicated to just keeping this big gas factory running. I throw carrots in, I get fuel. It's as simple as that. The only problem with the biogas is waiting. But I don't want to get into it now because I'm going to cover that in another video. That's literally going to be about nothing but this fuel processor. Again, organizing the machines, I split things up. I'll go into why I did that, things the way I did. Again, it's up to you how you want to, organize your base and your machinery. But some people like to go up and down and create catwalks to get up there. Personally, I don't like all that climbing. Once you get the jetpack, it does take a while to get to the jetpack. You do have to hit the medium voltage age to get the jetpack. But once you do get the jetpack, it's quite worth having. So anyway, my base isn't the coolest looking thing in the world, but it is a factory, and I'm going to focus on the machinery and how the machinery works. So the base is just going to be ugly, kind of like my character, which has a bit of a messed up skin, and he's wearing mismatched armor. Oh well, he's got like bucktooth fangs or something there too. I'll eventually put a better skin on that guy, but right now I could care less. Right, so let me go ahead and end this introductory thing, and we'll get some nice videos out here for just to explain the various things in this that I've set up here and how some of the machinery works, and basically explain about pretty much do videos that are say nothing about the blast furnace. They get straight to the point, tell you everything you need to know, and then the video's done. No extra stuff. No extra fluff around there. No let's play with instructional, buried somewhere in the middle of it. Alright, let's get going.